So now exponents are fractions. So this actually combines three of the things that you guys love the most: exponents, fractions, and radicals. So you're welcome for this loveliness that is coming to you right now. So when we have radicals, so we're going to start out with radicals. We have two parts that you have to remember. So the first one is the index, and that's the little number that comes here on the square root. Now, normally our square root is a 2, but when we have nothing there, it's understood. We know that it's a square root, it's a 2. And inside, whatever's underneath the radical, that's called the radicand. So we're going to be using that information to do the following stuff. So the first thing is you have to look at this problem here and determine what's the index and what's the radicand. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward. So there's the index, and the radicand is under the radical. For these, this is the radicand. It's underneath the radical. But there's no number here. This number is just a coefficient. That's all it is. But there's no number there. When there is no number there, is a 2. Okay? So then, this one. There you go. Hopefully that's clear. The 6 is there. It's just a coefficient. And it's just a number out in front. So, fractional exponents are another way to write a radical. That's right. Combining all three lovelies for you. So the basic idea is the thing on top is the exponent that's on the x, and the thing that's on the bottom, well, that's your radical. Okay, so hopefully it kind of makes sense sometimes, because if you have like, if you have like the square root of x to the 4th, well, you know that's just x squared. So the square root of x to the 4th, we can rewrite that as 1/2. Right? And if you multiply 4 times 1/2, you get that 2. So as we move on and we do this a few times, that may make more sense as we go. So to begin with, we're just rewriting. Okay, so here, the top number is always the inside number. So if I'm going to rewrite this, this is the top number. That's going to go inside. And this is the outside number. That's the little index. Okay, and so it's one way to think about it. So when I write this as a fraction here, so that's 3 to the 1/2 power. If I rewrite this as a radical, this is the exponent on the 3, and this is the index that goes right there. Now what's interesting is this particular one, you could just write radical 3, and it means the exact same thing. That 2 is understood to be there, and you all know that the 1 is understood to be there. So this one, 6, 1 is inside, 3 is outside. Same deal here. This whole mess is being raised to the 3/2 power. So that whole mess goes inside here, and it's being raised, remember that's in, and this is out. So I can just leave it like that. I don't need the 2 there. It's understood that it's there without actually writing it. All right, this one, what is being raised to the 2/3 power? Well, it's just the y. This mess is just like that coefficient out in front. It's not part of the radical. And then we put the radical, the y goes on the inside, obviously. The 2 is inside. So remember, in, out. Think of it in-out burger. I know it's a place somewhere. I've never been there, but... And then the 3 goes outside or as the index on the radical. So that's rewriting, and that's all we're really worrying about at this second, is we're rewriting this. Oh, next page. So we're rewriting these particular ones. We're putting those back with rational exponents. So it's a fraction, no biggie. So the bottom number is a radical. So I need to rewrite that with a fractional or a rational exponent. So remember what was said here. When you're going the other way, sometimes it's easier to understand that the inside one goes on the bottom and the outside one goes on the top. I don't use that particular one all that much. Okay, but I do know that that 5 is going to go on the top. And what number is there? Well, there's nothing there, so it's a 2. Okay, because it's the square root. We don't have a first root. So when nothing is written there, it's a square root. So this is fun. We're actually going to simplify that. I know, rocket. Seems like a good time. So the first thing that I want to do this is rewrite it with fractional exponents. So x squared, y to the 5th, is inside the radical. So I'm going to put that all in parentheses. Now, if this is all in parentheses here, there's a 1 as an exponent. There's a couple ways to think about this, but I'm just going to do it this way for now. Okay? And then that's rewritten. It's good. We're going to simplify that in a second, but that's the idea. And then this one right here, it's just an x. The exponent on the x is a 1, so that goes on top. And the 4 is on the bottom. Now for the fun part. Now we're going to use our exponent rule. So hopefully you get the idea of changing from radicals to fractional exponents. Okay? But now we're going to actually use our exponent rule. So power to a power. So I'm right here. Here, this power. I'm going to distribute that in. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 2. 1/2 times 2, well, that's 1. And 1/2 times 5, well, that's 5 over 2. We're going to keep these as fractions and not as decimals, because we are. Okay, so now that negative is nice, but it's just on. Right there is just the same as if the parentheses were there now. So here, there's x's on the top, and there's x's on the bottom. So what I need to do is, if they're dividing, remember this line means dividing, the exponents are subtracted. So what I need to do is 1 minus 1/4. Now doing all your common denominators, using your calculator, whatever, it's x to the 3/4 power, and then y to the 5/2 power. Done. Okay, we can rewrite that as a radical as we want, but there would be 2 radicals because this one has a 4 as a denominator and that one has a 2. Sorry if I just lost you all, but that was fun. Okay, so that's rewriting the other way and beginning of simplifying. This is just, super fun. All you have to really do is put the following in your calculator. I don't have a calculator visual here, but you just do -16 to the 1/2 power, or you use your alpha y equals, and you write it as a fraction. So it would be -16 to the, and it would wind up actually writing it exactly like this. So just put that in your calculator. That's it. You're going to write this, put this in your calculator exactly as it is. This particular one's answer is -4. So put them in your calculator and see what you get. This particular one is 15. And this one, cubed root, it would be 25, I believe. All right, so try those out, see if you can do it. We'll see you tomorrow.